Hello Dominant Aaron, I'm Kreutz. In today's Raid Shadow Legends video, we're going to be going over Emic Trunkheart's Fusion Guide. So if we pop here into the portal, on the Fusion tab, you can see that he's live in game. And to get our Void Legendary, we're going to need to collect fragments for 4 of the same epic, this Fire Gun Ishbale. So you're going to want to save your Force Affinity Brews in the tavern if you want to save time leveling her up using those brews instead of running her in campaign or whatnot for expediency's sake, since you are able to fuse Emmerich during our personal rewards CVC, which you can see here if we pop into Excel and I bring up my cheat sheet. All right. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, I cleared my copy. Damn it. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, over in here in Excel, you can see we've got our Fusion Guide all set up, ready to go, plugged in with the tournaments and events that we'll need to complete to get the fragments for Fire Gun. You can see there's 450 available. You're going to need 400 to summon 4 copies of her out of the fragment section of the portal. There's going to be 50 extra that are available due to this summon rush happening on the 8th through the 10th. I've labeled it as optional because, you know, with 2 other summoning events already as part of this fusion, that's going to be, I feel like, harder for most people. But yeah, so there's going to be 50 available in that event. It's not we're not sure yet if it's going to be broken up into 225s. That would make sense to do it that way, but you never know until we get there. And Plarium has done interesting things in the past, so I wouldn't bet on it being broken up into 2. I would bet on it being a lump sum and planning on it as such. So I would not skip anything until we get to the summon rush and know for sure. And then if you decide to go for that summon rush, then you can skip 2 events or tournaments further on down the line, probably the Dungeon Divers and Artifact Enhancement, if you just because the grind of Dungeon Divers is a drag, and then Artifact Enhancement is to save on that silver. But to each his own. Analyze your account and do whatever fits your needs most appropriately. So we are starting here on August 3rd, and it goes through the 16th. We've got the personal rewards CVC on the 15th. So to get 30,000 points for your personal rewards CVC purposes, I would go ahead and try to fuse him up here. You can also be cognizant of pulling your fragments for the epic either during this champion chase or doing it as more points during your personal rewards. For that last fusion, I saved fusing the epics for the personal rewards because it was during was it a 2x sacreds, I think it was, and I wanted to pull more shards and do it that way. But yeah, it's just whatever you want. If you're gonna struggle with the champion chase, go ahead and fuse. You'll at least be able to do 3 in here. It's possible if I guess if you had enough energy to blast out everything here on the 11th and get your final epic and fuse him if you wanted to to get even more champion chase points, but I would save it for the personal rewards CVC personally, but to each to his own. So yeah, if you'll see up here, we've got the potion schedule. Um, keep keep notice if you're lacking in your potions of the red days, being the Force Affinity days, and pop in there when you can, as needed, energy allowing. We started off today with Dragon and Dungeon Divers at the same time, which is great. I feel like a lot of fusions start off with a dungeon and like a champion training with the Dungeon Divers starting the day after, which is a bit of a drag for two um, energy requiring things happening simultaneously, and the double dip being delayed. But luckily, we've got it's concurrent, and we'll just make this green to show that these two things are double dipping. All right, perfect. And then we've got this champion training. I would focus on getting your dragon done and then switching over to your champion training. You can do mystery shards along with your champion training to complete this summon rush. That's what I plan on doing, at least the majority of the points required for this summon rush as mystery shards, aiding that champion training. So let's see, we can go ahead and, especially on this day, since there's ice. The only other thing is ice golem, and it doesn't correspond with the dungeon divers, but does the next day. I would focus on doing champion training here, as it corresponds nicely. We'll show that, and then we'll show that. All right, cool. Hopefully that's not too confusing. And then, yeah, so we'll go over into Ice Golem, double dipping with this Dungeon Divers. Boom. We do have 3 artifact enhancement events. It's just whether you have the silver available. If you're able to complete those, I typically try to avoid rolling up to levels 12 or 16 outside of artifact enhancement events, even outside of fusions. So I typically have enough silver for each one. And yeah, if you're building out champions, just roll them up to 15 and save that level 16 for the points during an artifact enhancement event. It's a pretty good strategy, but you know, needs must. If you're like building a new, clan boss team or something, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to progress at a pace that you would like to in the game. So, all right. It's getting sidetracked. Oh yeah, champion or classic arena. We've got one here and we've got one here. I feel like if you're in gold, they're super easy. I typically get the top tier rewards in the first day, especially since we're given so many tokens available in the game via playtime and daily quests. All right, so talking about energy requiring things, you can see on the 9th that there's no dungeon tournaments taking place to double dip with the dungeon divers on that day. So if you finish out Ice Golem, I would suggest, if you're low on your red potions, to go ahead and get into the dungeon on this day. You can the way this schedule works, as you could probably see by just going in. Right now, what is open is green. So at reset on this day, it'll switch over to red. All right. So on the 6th, it's going to be red on this day, but switch over to blue at reset on the 8th. So in between reset on the 7th, on reset on the 8th, it'll be red. So if you need your red potions and you finish out your Ice Golem, go ahead and dip on into there and get that done. Fire Knight will open and will correspond with that last day of Dungeon Divers. We'll pop that there and there. All right. So champion training will start same day, but it's a 5-day event, so you'll have plenty of time to complete that, hopefully. And you can, yeah, you can double dip with the champion training if you are struggling on ancient. Since this is a 2x ancients, you can get your points. Let me do this. All right. You can get your points out of the marketplace, purchasing champions there, the commons and uncommons that pop up there, and then if you still have mystery shards, since it's with a champion training as well, it's always helpful to have those food champions cycling through, building them up in the tavern and feeding them. Yeah, you can do it there, but another way to get those points, which I haven't yet decided. On this last fusion, I decided to go ahead and hold off since it was a 2x Sacreds and fuse the epics here in the personal rewards CVC to get even more points. But yeah, it's whatever you feel like doing. If you're going to struggle with the champion chase, obviously you'll want to fuse, pull the fragments for the epic fire gun there. You'll be able to do 3. I mean, I guess if you've got the energy and the desire, you could do all 4 here. But that's a little much. You might want to go outside that day. So, but yeah, 3 you can at least do 3. So that would be a nice 750 point boost there. And talking about energy requirements, we've got another Dungeon Divers corresponding with the first or the last, sorry, day of Fire Knight and the first 2 days of Spider. We've got a Spider here on CVC as well, but I would, for at least for expedience sake, try to finish up the energy requirement stuff and the grinding aspect of the fusion beforehand, and save the artifact enhancement for that day, because rolling up all that gear will be very nice for your CVC points. Let's see. Other than that, I'm pretty excited for this fusion. I don't think he's going to be as impactful for accounts as, say, like Newt was, but I think he's a pretty cool champion with a nice kit. I like that reset ability on the A2 for his allies' abilities. Yeah, so I'm excited to get him, especially as a void. Getting voids out of fusions is few and far between, and getting void legendaries is difficult out of shards, as everyone well knows. So I think he's worth going for if you're inclined and you've got the resources. Why not? But yeah, I think that'll wrap us up here. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Consider doing all the YouTube things. Have a great day. Cheers. The video is over. This is the end screen. You can go now. Bye.